UFC bet with me. Who's ready to make money betting on UFC? Me. That's who. MMA Locker Room here, part of Pick Dawgz, and I'm going to be going over this week's UFC Fight Night card, headlined by Peter Yan taking on Davison Figueiredo. We got an early start time to this. It's going on Saturday, okay? Saturday early morning in China, okay? So China, Macau card, I want to say, and it's starting off 12 a.m. in the morning over here on Pacific time for me. So I'm going to be doing a live stream from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning, doing the play-by-play, doing the bets-by-bets for this, up-and-coming card. So stay tuned, man. Can't wait for that, right? A lot of coffee, right? How'd you guys do last week, UFC 309? John Jones has always been the GOAT. What'd you guys think about the main event, man? I mean, spinning wheel kick to the abdomen to knock him out. Man, it gets no better than that. Let's talk about it though. We went 7-5 on our predictions. Honestly, man, we didn't get some stuff right, man, and we weren't looking straight, man. We lost with some bad ones, man, like bad bets. Mickey Gall, bad pick, man. Why Mickey Gall? Come on, man. Veronica Macedo, whatever, man. But hey, let's talk about some good ones though. Oban Elliott, -140, closed at -250. How'd you guys like that one, huh? Marcus McGee, I mean, come on now, man. -130, closed at a -145. I mean, but look, I lost big with my girl Karine Silva, man. She let me down, man. If she would have won that fight, I would have had a way more profitable night. But hey, that's last week. Let's get on started for this week, man. All right, so look, this week's card is headlined by the Road to UFC tournament. That's this tournament that goes down in the Euro-Asia scene, China and all those other Oriental scenes. They try to get their fighters to get up-and-coming fights to get recognized and get their chance to the UFC. Some of the fighters have been able to get there and came into the UFC from the Road to UFC. And then some of the fighters that didn't even win the tournament, we still see them getting their shots on short notice and stuff like that. So some of these fighters that still don't win this tournament, you're going to see in the UFC. And some of these fighters, a lot of people don't recognize. So let's go ahead and get it started with the first fight. All right, I like Mahash Tate taking on Nicholas Mata. Mahash Tate, man, what? Mahash Tate, man, bro, what is going on? I even know how to say his name. Bro, alright, forget it, man. They got him as the favorite, man. Mashatate, oh my god, you guys are getting me, man, bro. I can't get it. This is the thing, I know his name out of all the things that I can't pronounce it. Alright, let's forget his name for right now. Let's talk about the underdog, Nicholas Mata. In this fight, he's opening up a big underdog, man. And he's been able to get some impressive wins in his last two fights out. He's an explosive fighter. He likes to wind up and throw big, powerful hooks, okay? And then he likes to throw big, powerful counters. It's not going to be too many combos and stuff like that, but he's a game fighter. And I think he's going up against a fighter that, is going to have a little bit more advantage. Why? Because Mahashate, there we go. Mahashate can mix in the wrestling. Training over there with Team Alpha Male, your Rob Favor, okay? This is a guy that I'm familiar with. He only took a couple of losses to some of the people that, wait, was it with Team Alpha Male? I don't even know if he's with Team Alpha Male or man, I think he was. But look, listen, hear me out. He's taking this fight, and Nicholas Mata's taking this fight on short notice. I think Mahashate wins, man. And I like the under. Man, this is going to be a fun one. We got a lot of names like this, so hey, that's just the first one. All right, Long Zhao taking on Quang Li in the second fight. Long Zhao actually opened up as the underdog. Now he's the favorite, okay? In this one, he got his UFC debut in the Road to UFC in his last fight out. He wasn't able to get the win. He's a guy that likes to mix in the wrestling, mix in the takedowns. I actually had a play on him in that fight. Didn't like what I seen, and but overall, he is going to be the more experienced fighter in here. Quang Li made his UFC debut on short notice against Chris Gutierrez. I know a lot about Quang Li. Used to fight in the LFA promotion, but waiting for him to get his call up, okay? When it comes down to it, man, he's going to be the more powerful striker. He's going to be able to kind of mix in some takedowns every now and then, but he's not the type of wrestler that you think compared to his opponent. In here, I was going to be putting Quang Li as a favorite spot, and then the line flipped, and then I'm like, all right, cool. I still like him in this spot, but now as an underdog, I'm not. See, that's the thing. Some people, when the odds change, they look the other way. And me, I just look at it like, all right, cool. I don't got to lay nothing. Now I'm getting plus money. It's a couple of spots on here that's going like that. But I like Quang Lee to get it done. I just think he's going to be the more explosive fighter, more powerful fighter, more dangerous fighter too. But if this goes to the scorecards, I am a little bit scared because, you know, Quang Lee he's not from the background and everything like that, even though he is going to be a Vietnam fighter. I want to say he's from Vietnam, Vietnamese. But Long Zhao, he's going to have the crowd behind him cheering him on, so it's going to be hard, man. If a lot of these fights go to the decision, and if it's not a one-way fight, man, we might be in for a long night. But I like Quang Lee to get it done in this one, man. Give me the underdog in the second fight of the night. Third fight of the night, man, we got a good one. Loner Kavanaugh taking on Jose Ochoa. Both these guys are 7-0, but the odds is crazy, man. Logan Kavanaugh is a -350 favorite, and the line's going up. Oh, man. He came out of the UFC Dana White Contender Series against my boy Anton Lee, and he was able to get the first round knockout on him real quick. He looked impressive in there. Know a lot about this guy. He came from the Cage Warrior scene. So, you know, he has a better fight resume, better fight experience in here. His opponent, Jose Ochoa, oh, man, he's explosive. He likes to come forward. He likes to mix in everything. He likes to get you down to the ground. He can finish you that way. He can finish you on the feet as well. I think this is going to be a real good fight, you know. Another Peru fighter, you know, they've been coming out on the map right now, and he's over there training at Shoot the Box over there with Charles Oliveira camp. So, you know, compared to how he started off, compared to how he is in the last 6 to 8 months, I think we're going to see improvements. I think the line is off in here. I like fight not go to distance. A lot of people like the dog in this one. And the money is enticing. And who knows, man? He's been able to put out a lot of his opponents, but a lot of his opponents are like cans. When I mean cans, I mean Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, and Pepsi. I mean, the records are like crazy. This is going to be his first real step up in competition. Compared to Loner Kavanaugh, he's been fighting good opponents, you know, and both these guys are 7-0. I like the favorite in this one, but this is a live fight to where the dog can be live. I wouldn't be too surprised if Jose Ochoa go ahead and, you know, cashes some big people some tickets out there, you know. But I like the favorite in this one, man. I see more about him and I know more about him. Next fight taking place, man. This line done flipped. We got Carlos Hernandez taking on Niam Tumim de Barrel. Alright. Yeah. Him. Carlos Hernandez, 9-4, man. He opened up as the underdog in this fight. Tim Dimber, he was a -140 favorite on the books, because I remember when I seen all these odds out, I was looking at it and I was like, all right, let me do some tape study on this. I know about Hernandez already. Won money with him, I think, in 1 or 2 fights. You know, besides that, Tim Dimber, his line didn't flip. Now Carlos Hernandez is a -2-1 favorite in there. We got a Mongolian fighter in Tim Dimber, you know, and he's a nomad type of guy. He's going to be going out there standing wild, power in his hands, power in his takedowns, but he's not offensively and defensively technical. So that means at least opens for his weaknesses out there. He's been taken down in multiple fights, and, you know, he struggles with that at times in there. Just looking at this fight, my first reaction and play, I liked Tim Dimber in this spot, right? And he was a favorite -140, and that line went down to -110, and I was just like, wait, what happened? And everybody's on Carlos Hernandez, man. Carlos Hernandez is going to be the overall better fighter, okay? But overall better fighter always don't win you the fights. And in this one, man, I'm going with my first gut. And now give me the dog, man. I was going to look at him as a favorite earlier on, you know, but I didn't. Now I could get him as a dog money. Man, I think he can maybe win by KO. And this is a thing to where, you know, this crowd in this arena is going to be all in favor for him. But, you know, in favor for him doesn't over-comprehend skills that you can't equate to. And Carlos Hernandez is the overall better fighter, like I said. But playing him at this -2-1 price tag, compared to getting him at dog money, or even compared to getting him at -130, you know, it's just crazy because now he's a -2-1 favorite. But I will tell you guys this. So one thing that I noticed in UFC and MMA this year, and it's been cashing like a 70% rate. When the dog goes from being the dog odds to being a favorite, they usually been winning at a 70% clip. Like, you know, if a fighter goes from +114 to -130, that fighter's been winning at a 70% clip. This one, lines flipped even more crazier, you know, compared to a favorite just getting bet up more. Like a favorite that opens up -170 and then gets bet up to -300. That's no comparison. But this ratio of underdogs that open up as an underdog and then close as a favorite in UFC, Dana White Contender Series, and MMA so far this year, it's been cashing, man. So I've been kind of following it that way too on some fights. And then, you know, some I stand still to if I had to play on that opposite fight. And this one, like I said, my gut was Tim Dembrow to win in the beginning, and that's what it is still in this one, man. So I'm going to go ahead and stick to it and see what we can do, man. Get some plus money in this one. All right, man. Next fight taking place. We got some girls on this one, man. Okay. Zhang Fang taking on Ming. All right, Zhang Fang, big favorite in here. -300 in here. She's a big physical girl. 5'7". Her opponent is only like 5'2". Ming. Both these girls kind of struggle with wrestling, you know. So wrestling's not going to be their strong suit in this fight. But I like Zhang Fang to get it done in this one, man. I think her size is going to be too much for Ming. Zhang Fang, she has shown weaknesses in her fights. So this is the thing. Now, -300 price tag might not be warranted, right? Because I get it. You know, these fighters, you can leave holes in your games. And I think on this card, some fights might be able to just win if you just get 2 or 3 big dogs on the night. Hey, you can have a good night, you know, because you never know in this road to UFC card. But in here, I just think Zhang Fang's going to be able to keep her down, you know, be the more powerful girl on the feet. She has the better fight experience too. And in this card, there's about 2 or 3 favorites that I really like. You know, Zhang Fang, she was one of the girls that I like in this one. All right, let's go ahead and give us a prediction. She's been able to finish her last couple of fights, you know. So in this one, I'm taking Zhang Fang to get the submission in round 3 or else the ground and pound in round 2. All right, let's go ahead and get it done in this one. Moving on to the next fight. We got Dong Hong Choi taking on Shahada. Shahada, 12-2, coming from the London scene over there in England, training with fighters like, you know, Leon Edwards and the Renegades and fighters like that. So he's going to have those better looks in the gym, right? But he's the underdog in this one. His physique and his height stands out for this division. Tall guy, man, kind of like a giraffe in this division, right? Dong Ho Choi, he's a guy, 8-0. And he's been able to win his last couple of fights just by pulling them out in decisions to where some people think he didn't win. This is the thing that I like. I don't think Dong Ho Choi is great, but I think he's a solid striker. I think he has good wrestling. I think he has good cardio. His fight IQ is good enough to win, obviously, by decision. Throws a nice elbow, doubles up the jab, goes to the body every now and then. Does struggle sometime with just pulling that trigger, you know, with that finish ability. You know, but in this one, man, I like Dong Ho Choi to get it done in here, man. I do see a lot of people liking the dog in here. I'm not like, if the scales on weigh-ins might be overtelling and you know, to see something to change something, but so far I like the favorite in there, man. He's showing that he's been able to get it done on the scorecards, and this is one to where I think it's probably going to go to the scorecards too as well. Next fight taking place, we got Sung Yu taking on Boxing Gensly. All right, Sung Yu is going to be the favorite in there, okay? He's a guy that, look, man, you know what he's going to do out there. He's going to try to mix in the wrestling and get you down to the ground, man. And when he does, I like it because he's not going to fool you on the feet. He's going to close the distance to set up those takedowns. He's going to jab, clinch, go for the takedown. You know, whatever he's doing up here, it's only to set up the takedown. It's kind of like a full and a feint. That's why I like the way that he fights. Ginseng Lee, he's all right. You know, I seen a few of his fights in his tape studies. This is the thing. I'm not going to try to give you guys over analysis on none of these fights on here that I really don't know about. And that's, you know, that's where I think you can go wrong with. And on this one, man, I just like the favorite in there. I just think he's a little bit more overall better in this one, okay? And I like these fighters in this Japan road to UFC, a lot of these guys do the same thing. It's like grappling and wrestling implemented. A lot of these guys aren't explosive strikers on this season. Before we seen it to where, oh man, submission specialist, or you know, he has power, he's fast, he's a good striker. This season, this tournament, it's a lot of the guys that kind of grapple against grapplers. You know, the striking is okay, decent. So it's kind of like pick your poison, pick which one you want. And on this card too, man, you really can't go wrong with looking at the dogs, because I think a lot of these fights ain't priced right, because a lot of these odds and bookmakers, They don't watch the tape study. They don't know what's going on. They're just looking at probably how they were lying in their last fight, looking at stuff like that, and saying, hey, let's write them up as that. So, you know, but in here, that's why I said I'm not overly invested into this card at all, man. But, you know, there's always ways to get paid, so let's keep it going. Next fight on the card, we got Ozzy Diaz, 9-2, underdog, taking on Ming Zhang. Ming Zhang made his UFC debut against Anderson Ribeiro, or I forget his name, Ribeiro, whatever it was, man. He was a dog in that one, and he knocked him out in the first round. I had Ribeiro in that fight. We all thought that Ribeiro or somebody was going to get finished, and it happened. Somebody got poked in the eye, told him to continue, and Zhang knocked him out. Ozzy Diaz, man, he made his UFC debut against Joe Pfeiffer, and he was a favorite against there. Joe Pfeiffer knocked him out. You guys know what happened with that. The story went on. Ozzy Diaz bounced back to the local regional scene. He was able to get the win over 2 fighters. One was Bevon Lewis. You know, yeah, Bevon Lewis, man, former UFC fighter. That's nothing too impressive. But I will say this, man. Ming Zhang was a big underdog before that in another fight. Now he's a big favorite. I do think Ming Zhang wins in this one. But this is why, too. Sometimes the demographics and everything says it all. They're flying out a guy from California with the last name Diaz to fight a Chinese fighter in China with the last name Zhang. What more you want me to say, man? Give me Zhang to win in this one, man. All right, next fight to take place. All right. Carlos Orberg is taking on Volkan Ozdemir. This is going to be a good one, folks. Both these guys like to finish. The upside, Carlos Orberg, 230 on the books. Volkan Ozdemir, he's done fought the who's who before. Volkan Ozdemir, he only lost to the better fighters in the division. This is a big step up in the competition. He might have the advantage if he wrestles and grapples and gets him down to the ground. He's an explosive fighter. He likes to double up with the jab. He likes to counter with the left. You know, but his head's on the target. Carlos Orberg, he's one of those guys that real talented kickboxer. He uses all of his reach, all of his lengths. Likes to pop that jab, stay on the outside. You know, attack kicks when he can. Only been finished in one of his fights. I like Carlos Orberg in this fight, man, but this is one to where, just based on his opponent, man, I'm trying to tell you, Volkan Ozdemir is good. He fought Daniel Cormier. I thought he was going to beat him and take the belt. He didn't. Didn't bounce really back ever since then, but he's a tough veteran to where I think he should be fighting in the UFC. Always going to kind of be around that top level echelon of fighters as well. But I like Carlos Orberg in this spot, but it's one of those things to where Volkan Ozdemir could really surprise some people as an underdog. And if Carlos Orberg gets clenched up against the cage and stuff like that, he might just be a little bit more in for a fight than he expects. But I like the favorite in this one. And I'm probably going to get to a parlay with him, even though I don't feel the best in that one, man. It's one of those things. All right, man, let's go. Wang taking on Gabriela Fernandez. Wang minus 1,000 on the books. Made her UFC debut and knocked out her opponent in the first round. Had to play on her to win by KO is minus 145. Gabriela Fernandez, former LFA fighter. Both these girls are going to be, you know, tall girls in this division. Both going to have a lot more, you know, muscles on them and stuff, right? But Gabriela Fernandez, she hasn't been looking good so far in the UFC, the transition. And in here, it's like she's getting fed to the wolves in here. I like Wang to win inside the distance. It's plus money out there. It's like plus 110. Yeah, let's go ahead and get it started. Next fight, King Ying Song taking on Muslim Solokov. Muslim Solokov opened up a minus 150 up to a minus 180 now. Looking good in his last fight out against Santanzio Ponzinibbio as an underdog. Got the win by decision, okay? King Ying Song, he got the win in his last fight against Ricky Glenn. We had to play him in there and there. And here, I like Muslim Solokov to get it done, man. He's the overall better fighter. He's the older fighter, but he's the faster fighter. He's the stronger fighter. He's the smarter fighter. He can mix in the wrestling. His nickname is the King of Kung Fu. But he's taking on a Chinese fighter in King Ying Song. So it's going to be hard, man. You're going to have to really put on, you know, some moves out there, right? I like when I'm winning the third round by KO or decision. All right, next fight taking place. Co-main event on. Tabitha Ricci taking on Yang Xiaonan. Tabitha Ricci is the underdog in here. Yang Xiaonan is like a minus 185 in here. I've been going back and forth on this fight. Yang Xiaonan, if she can stuff the takedowns, she's going to be able to keep this on the feet and do the more damage, right? Her striking is way more cleaner and way more technical than Tabitha Ricci. But Tabitha Ricci, She pushes the pace and she comes in with value. She comes in striking, and then she comes in to grapple. She comes in to take you down, and she's like a specimen, man. Like when it comes to women's MMA, like you see the way she trains. She's training out with the guys. Like, you know, she's out there like wrestling with the guys and everything, man. Going back and forth on this fight. The favorite in the odds is all in Yang Xinan. Co-main event. Chinese fighter fighting in China, right? I think probably even for the first time, right? But I like Taba the Ricci in here, man. I gotta say, and always stick to your gut, stick to your guys, girls, and guns. And I mean, Taba the Ricci's been one of my girls I've been betting on and backing on. Be honest with you guys, though, man. I really don't like it, but I really do think Yang Xinan, she did struggle with takedowns earlier on in her career, but training at Team Alpha Male, she's really summed that up. But she's still... The way that she fought against Mackenzie Dern was good, but Mackenzie Dern sucks at wrestling and grappling and takedowns. That's why she wasn't able to keep her down and, you know, go for the takedowns too much. Tabitha Ricci, that's her path to victory in here. You know, it's going to be a good fight in here. Yeah, it's going to be a real good fight in here. The line's been going down, too. Let me know who you guys are betting on. Main event time, man. Peter Yan taking on Davison Figueiredo. Peter Yan looked good in his last fight out against Song Yadong. Davison Figueiredo, man, he looked real good since he stepped up to this weight class. 3-0. Wins over Cody Garbrandt, wins over Rob Font, wins over Marlon Vera. In this one, he opened up a big dog, man. And being honest with you guys, I'm going to just keep it short and sweet. I like him as a dog in this one. I hopped on him early, but I hopped on him way too early. I hopped on him when he was only plus 200. He's like plus 250 now, man. Yes, when it comes down to it, Peter Yan, he's a talented striker. He's going to have more value. But Davison Figueiredo is just dangerous, man. He only lost to 3 people in the UFC. And one of those fighters he lost to twice. Brandon Moreno and Juicy Alfred. Peter Yan, I'm not here to say he's a bad fighter, because he's not. He was a former champion. I'm just here to say, man, these odds are off. And even if it wasn't, I just look at it like, all right, I think this is a way closer fight, man. Damn near a 50-50 fight. I'm just like mind blown that the odds is this big. Either way it go, I was on Figueiredo and I still am in this fight. Let me know who you guys got, who you guys like, man. All right, UFC bet with me. Let's get you the parlay to get paid, man. Oh man, what are we gonna do today? All right, man. Like I said, this card is nothing I'm too heavily involved in. Do got a few single plays, a few things that I like. Let's go Zhang Kong Fang, and then we're gonna go with Ming Ying Zhang. 2-team parlay, meet me out the window. Let's get paid.